when it comes to creating a change in an organization or within yourself or a business, it always starts with yourself. It should start with yourself, right? And I remember when I worked at GSK and I went through several coaching programs, there was a I forget which one, but there was this like diagram that had a circle, concentric circles, right? In the middle, it said, this was like a change management training, right? So in the middle, it said, changing yourself needs to come first. And that's sort of like the center of the circle, and then changing your team, and then changing your organization. And I always felt like people skipped over the changing of the self, because that means you have to get vulnerable, right? I mean, and it's not easy to do anyways, and especially if you're doing that in a professional setting in front of your coworkers and things like that. People don't necessarily like to go there. Like, what is it about yourself that you need to change if you're affecting a team or a bigger organization, right? You have to kind of ask yourself, what is that? And it's not always easy to ask, and it's not always easy to answer. It's very uncomfortable for a lot of people. But that to me was really what made me interested in that side of, you know, change management, Lean Six Sigma, the Toyota way. There's an element of, you're a human being. We're all human beings, right? We work in an organization, we work for companies, we work for clients. You know, we might be working for ourselves, but we're always doing something for other people. But at the end of the day, it's you as a person that's contributing, right? So you have to insert yourself into the process. And I think that's what really, that little circle, I mean, it said a lot, but I think we overlooked it all the time. Because I know we did. I know when we did transformation projects and you know, production systems and things like that, it was all about, you know, what's the outcome of this? What target are we getting to? You know, what are our target conditions? What are our metrics? And all of that is all valid, but it seems very removed from, you know, it almost seems like you can take yourself out of that process and somebody can come in and do all of that if it's set up the right way, right? But there is like almost like a special sauce that everybody brings to the table. You know, they bring themselves to that process.
You know, and I know that you coach women in STEM. So if I'm a woman in STEM and I've got lots of things on my plate, and you know, we're looking at things from a strategic perspective, you know, trying to grow, control costs, things like that. I'm thinking about, what do I need to do to change my team, to change the organization? Like you said, what goals do we need to hit? All of these things. But, you know, what you help them do is come back to that first circle, but, you know, that was inside of team and inside of organization, and say, hey, in order to get all of this stuff done, you have to be healthy and focused on the things that you're good at and that make you happy. And you have to be focused inwardly on yourself. Because if you don't focus on yourself and what you're good at or not, what you need and what you don't need, all this other stuff that you're doing is probably going to suffer. Is it sort of like that?
It's very similar to the analogy that we always talk about when you're, you know, on an airplane and they tell you, you know, if we're losing pressure, you have to put the oxygen mask on yourself before you help anybody else, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I think, and you know, you hear that all the time, and you know what that means, but also you're like, would I actually do that if that happens? You know, but if you think about it, if you don't, then you really are rendered pretty much useless to everybody else around you, right? And what I tell my clients, you know, and obviously friends, family, myself, is keeping your intention on that thing that's important to you. What is that priority? What is that value? What do you want to do this year? What do you want to do next year? And are you creating space in your, not just your schedule, but also your kind of like your mental space to get after that thing? And it's not just women that do this, but I think especially women. I think especially people who are moms and have families, that they tend to put everybody else before themselves, right? They want everybody else to make sure that everybody else is happy, and they don't always give themselves the time to do what they need to do for themselves.
Sure.
And so that's the philosophy that I subscribe to is that make sure you're taken care of. No one else is going to do that job for you, right? No one else is going to be as good as you are taking care of yourself.